So you use your air conditioning all the time, and you might not even think about what you're doing, but some of you might see this little button and wonder what that does. Well, that's called the recirculation button. I'm sure you think, oh, I press it and it just makes everything colder. But what does it actually do, and how does it make it colder? Let's take this ice for example. If I just let the ice sit here and melt, it'll take a while and it'll eventually melt. But if I blew air over the ice, it would melt a lot faster because it's absorbing the heat from the air. Now, let's say I took warm air and blew it over the ice. What do you think would happen? It would melt a lot faster. So, using that same logic about the ice, think of the ice as the evaporator in your car. The compressor pumps the refrigerant through the system and makes the evaporator cold. If you want to talk about that, we can do it in another video. But there's only a maximum cooling capacity. So, depending on how hot it is outside, that's going to depend on what temperature the air is that goes over the evaporator in the car. If it was 70 degrees outside and your evaporator were 50 degrees, it would be trying to cool it down to that 50 or 60 degrees, whatever that you have it set at in your car. Well, if it gets 90 degrees outside, all of a sudden it's a lot harder for it to keep up, and it doesn't work very well. So you press that magic button with the little arrow, the recirculation button. And what does that do? It closes it off to the outside. When you press that button, it's no longer taking the air from the outside. So on a 90-degree day, you're no longer putting 90-degree air over that ice cube or that evaporator. What happens then is it recirculates the air in your car over that evaporator or over that ice cube over and over and over again. And why it gets so much colder is because each time that it goes over the ice cube, that air gets a little colder than the last time. And then it comes again and passes over it, and that makes it a little easier to cool even more the next time. It just keeps going and going and going until it can get ice cold, which it would not be able to do if you used outside air. Let's say you're a smoker. You really don't want to be pressing that when you're smoking in the vehicle, or if you have a nasty smell in the vehicle or anything like that, because now you're not putting fresh air into the vehicle anymore. You're recycling the air that's already inside of it. So if you're blowing smoke, it's just going over and over again through that system, getting soaked into your vents, into all of your upholstery, and making your car smell nasty. So just keep in mind, when you use that button, try to keep everything in the car good air quality. Otherwise, you want to use the outside air, even if it's not going to keep up as much. Hopefully I explained enough just to satisfy your curiosity without getting too technical about it, but that's how it works.